Coverage you can count on at 11 starts now.
First at 11, the ongoing investigation into Pawleys Island Community Church has now led to several arrests. Good evening, I'm Adriana Lawrence. The former pastor, his wife, and registered sex offender Warren Perry now face criminal charges. Authorities claim the now former church leaders knew Perry's criminal record and obstructed the investigation. News 13's Jordan Titus reports.
Just 1 week after a concerned parent called the Georgetown County Sheriff's Office, the investigation has now led to multiple arrests, and investigators say more are expected. Sheriff Carter Weaver announced Monday that former pastor Don Williams, his wife Ginny Williams, Pawleys Island Christian Academy director Nikki Howard, and convicted sex offender Warren Perry all face criminal charges.
What complaints have you received that he was in violation of his?
He's had contact with minors.
See the astonishment on Don Williams' face, the curiosity.
Excuse me?
Warren Perry's not around children. Warren Perry's not around children at Pawleys Island Christian Academy.
Investigators say the case began after a parent discovered Perry's criminal background, a registered sex offender, and then reported he had been around children at Pawleys Island Community Church and school.
Knowingly and willfully placing our children in harm's way.
He says deputies learned Perry had been volunteering at the church 7 days a week. After executing search warrants, reviewing records, and interviewing witnesses, investigators found evidence that contradicted what church leaders initially told them.
He was not going into classrooms with minors.
After showing that video, Sheriff Weaver displayed photos he says shows Perry in close proximity to children.
This is sickening in and of itself, coupled with the video of just, I don't know what you're talking about.
Authorities say all four, including Perry, are charged with criminal conspiracy and obstruction of justice. Don Williams and Howard are also charged with unlawfully placing a child at harm or abandoning a child. Investigators add they're still reviewing evidence, conducting interviews, and expect more arrests. In the newsroom, Jordan Titus, News 13.
Jordan, thank you. The church resignations came after Warren Perry, who volunteered as a maintenance man, was first arrested last week on a probation violation. Now, Perry, seen here in this photo, we're told is from a school event, was convicted in 2023 on a third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor charge. A condition of his probation was that he could not work near children. We later learned from a Georgetown County Sheriff's Office report that he did not tell South Carolina Probation, Parole, and Pardon Services that the church also operated a school. A $25 billion class action lawsuit was also filed against the church on Friday. Well, a 3-car wreck involving an Horry County police officer sent 3 people to the hospital tonight. That's according to Horry County Fire Rescue. Officials say the wreck happened shortly before 9 tonight at Socastee Boulevard and Village Drive. The Highway Patrol is investigating. Count on News 13 for updates. New at 11, Conway City Council gave final approval to an ordinance to annex just over 70 acres of land behind the former Lake Busby near New Road. The land is part of more than 800 acres transferred to the city by state-owned utility Santa Cooper in 2025.
It's about 825 acres in total. The bulk of that will be held in conservation in perpetuity. So of the 825 acres, approximately 800 acres will never be developed. It will be held in pristine conservation. And so the remaining 20 acres or so, there has an opportunity to be some small development there that'll showcase what used to be where the steam plant site and become a gateway to the Grand Strand again.
The city wants to use some of the land as part of its $80 million downtown development plan. Proposed projects include an inland beach and recreational activities like kayaking. Another U.S. service member was killed over the weekend while disposing of a downed Iranian drone in Iraq. 2 other service members were killed Friday in an Iranian attack on an air base in Jordan. And a third is missing and unidentified remains have been found. Jesse Mitchell reports.
The U.S. has waged nightly attacks on Iran for the past week and a half, 10 straight nights. President Trump says the military is hitting the country hard in honor of service members killed in the past few days.
We feel very badly, but those great people, those great patriots are out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
The Pentagon identified the two killed Friday as 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez from Carrollton, Texas, and 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan, a Hawaii resident assigned to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Footage appears to show the Iranian strikes on the U.S. base in Jordan where they were killed, suggesting they had little time to escape. President Trump posted this message online: "Every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over." The U.S. strikes are also targeting sites around the Strait of Hormuz as Iran keeps hitting cargo ships.
What is happening militarily really is a battle for control of the Strait of Hormuz, with Iranian retaliation across the region about American efforts occurring there in and around the strait. The administration needs to explain what its strategy is.
Another Middle East analyst says now is a pivotal time.
It is, yes, a very tenuous period, and one where you're going to need one or both sides, either through mediation or just senior level decision making, to find a way to de-escalate.
Iran's president says his country is back to a full-scale war with the U.S. Jesse Mitchell, CBS News, New York.
No word tonight of any arrests after a shooting outside an Horry County bar sent a bystander to the hospital. Police say it happened around 11:30 last night on Waccamaw Boulevard. The area is near Pub International. Investigators say they found shell casings from 4 different calibers of guns and bullet holes in a car parked nearby. In a social media post, the bar said the shooting happened in an area between the bar and a nearby fireworks store. Authorities say the wounded person should be okay. Horry County Police announced more charges today in connection with an animal cruelty investigation in the Longs area. Police say 58 dogs were rescued Friday from a property in the area of Rainbow Drive. Last week, authorities charged Yakeem Evans, Thermontres Livingston, and Jamar Chestnut with criminal conspiracy. Chestnut now faces more than 30 counts of felony ill treatment of animals, more than 20 counts of animal fighting and baiting, and 1 count of unlawful possession of firearms.
The condition of them was consistent with neglect and trauma. Each dog is currently receiving veterinary care. Our priority is making sure that they receive treatment and preserving evidence along the way as best we can while they're being cared for.
The dogs are in the care of a North Carolina-based dog rescue. Police say more charges are likely. A Missouri-based company hired to design and build an electric vehicle battery plant in Florence filed a breach of contract lawsuit. Clayco Incorporated claims it had an agreement with AESC that required completion of most of the project by June 1st, 2025. Now, AESC broke ground on the 1.5 million square foot facility across from Wilson High School in June 2023. Construction started less than a year later, but in June 2025, AESC announced the project was suspended. Clayco says it is owed more than $26 million plus attorney costs and other fees. You'll find all of our coverage on the battery plant at WBTW.com. Well, tonight a major announcement. Starting tomorrow, we're throwing out the morning news playbook. See the Grand Strand and PD's newest morning experience featuring brief headlines, big stories, and an interactive weather conversation on the rundown. It all kicks off tomorrow morning at 9 on News 13 and the WBTW Plus streaming app, available on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Now let's get a check on the forecast with Krista.
Yeah, we are continuing to see right now partly cloudy skies with a few stray showers. Most areas will remain dry throughout the overnight hours, and then tomorrow the rain and scattered showers return once again for the afternoon. More on those details after the break.